Welcome to the I Heart My Fit Biz podcast, where we will be covering everything you need for inspiration, motivation, and practical advice in how to create a thriving fitness business. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of I Heart My Fit Biz podcast. And this week, I'm talking about a no social media fitness business, and if it's possible, and well, I know it's possible, but my journey to it. So this is last week I talked about repurposing all your content for social media, which is what I do a lot, but I'm super organized with my social media. A lot of things I schedule anyway. But I found that I've gone backwards in terms of the amount of time that I spend on social media. And that's things like the habit of just constantly checking, things like likes, things like comments, things like just mindlessly scrolling, actually. And also the things like stories and reels and doing all of those. And we tend to fall, because social media it's designed to be addictive, and we use it in a way that it's used in a way, it makes us feel like we are missing out if we are not on there. And I definitely think it has its place, but we need to be setting and again, I can only talk for myself, really, but I know a lot of people think like this, and I know a lot of people, do want a business without having to use social media. But it's really about creating discipline and boundaries if you want to stay on social media, which, most of us find hard. Most of us find hard in the most basic things to have discipline and boundaries. And social media is so easy to get drawn into and kind of find yourself down a rabbit hole of scrolling and going from one thing to the next. Now, I love social media in terms of like my personal Instagram account. I could scroll and still feel good because I've selected who I'm following, and everyone I follow it's pretty much I follow a few celebrities, and I follow positive things like Gabrielle Bernstein and law of attraction stuff and positive stuff. And I actually enjoy scrolling, but when it comes to business, I feel like there's a different energy sometimes. And I know some businesses really thrive with social media, but I think we place too much emphasis on social media. And for me, that stems from my time in network marketing, which brought me so much positive things from that in terms of growing my business and going online. That was a huge starting point, but it also created this negative effect in terms of social media, because you are kind of told that that's the only way to build a network marketing business. And it becomes very like, you have to be seen, you have to be out there. And I think that's also the message a lot in business now. But saying that, a lot of the business courses that I've done personally, like there's only a very small percentage of those courses, or none whatsoever, based around social media. And it's because social media changes so much. The algorithms change so much. So what you're doing one week could be completely different next week. So you're always chasing this kind of almost popularity contest of like, oh, what should I do? What should I do now? What should I do next? Why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? And we spend too much time and too much emphasis on that. And there's so many other ways to market and grow your business. Now, last year, I cannot believe it's nearly been a year, but last November, I had my highest. I actually made a decision, right? I'm going to come away from social media. I was on it a lot less. I think actually I came off it almost completely. Didn't even schedule any posts or anything like that, from what I remember. But I had my biggest income month ever because I was more focused, and I felt better than ever because I was more focused on other marketing things, and I still use things like Facebook ads. But again, that's the type of thing you can kind of set and then leave. You don't have to, you obviously check it, but you don't have to be on Facebook to be able to check your Facebook ads. But things like SEO and lots of other things like that. And again, it's where I really got my rhythm with my email marketing as well. So you just focus everything on what's really important in your business, and you're focusing on your clients a lot more as well, instead of chasing new clients. And again, I did that. I really reduced my social media from around November last year to, because that was 2021, and it really started getting back into it like February, March time. So it wasn't really long that I kind of went back into it. And then again, it's escalated and escalated and escalated. And again, even myself, when I schedule social media posts, somebody who schedules social media posts for my business, I've still got pulled back into that. I must post this, I must post that, I must do this, And I've only just been pulling back now since Monday. So it's Wednesday now. And there's just so much more headspace. There's so much more time. I'm getting so much more done on my to-do list. My to-do list used to be, I'm going to move that to tomorrow. I'm going to move that to tomorrow. Didn't have time to do that. Move it to tomorrow. Move it to tomorrow. Now I'm literally so much more focused. So in an hour, I'm getting so much more done because there's not that constant thing. Oh, I need to do a story. I need to do this. I'm just going to check. So much more focus around actual business activities. And again, don't get me wrong. I think social media plays a role in creating awareness of your business, and you can absolutely create an income just from social media. But I think for the majority, we need to start pulling away from social media and focusing on different aspects of marketing. I feel like I need to take a breath there. So I know social media fitness business is absolutely possible because I've done it. But now I want to do it on a bigger scale. And again, it's not necessarily coming off social media, but it's really just what I say to myself is, I still want a presence on social media. So if somebody's found me on social media, they can still get value from my social media content. But I will mainly be redirecting people to my website and to different places, like my YouTube, and different places where they can really get more valuable stuff than just like a 1-minute reel. And it's really, I think for me, I've lost my train of thought there. So for me, it's not about no social media, but it's about not being active on social media. So this month is really about prepping and planning for that. So again, I've reduced it so much already. But it's about putting those boundaries in place. So the first thing I did, and I highly recommend you do everything that I'm saying in this podcast, and I'm blogging about this whole experience as well. So I won't do every podcast about it, but I will be blogging, and so you can read instead of listen, about my experiences and what I'm doing every week to move away from social media. Again, I just went off on one then. So what was I originally saying? So the first thing that I did was rearrange the apps on my phone. So now my social media apps, like my Facebook and my Instagram, are now on the second page of my iPhone. And then that made me rearrange all my other apps as well. So I just kind of moved things around. And oh my gosh, I'm like clicking in the same place where my old social media accounts used to be. This just really rewires your brain. And I'm going to do it every month. I'm going to rearrange my apps every month because it just really helps you to stop, pause, think about what you're doing and where you're clicking onto. Because it is just a habit of clicking on, in the same place on your phone, or somehow if you're on your laptop, going into social media. again, it's not going to be so much of a problem on my laptop, because if I'm scheduling posts, it's only in the Creator Studio. But such a huge thing of changing your apps around on your phone, it just keeps you on your toes and actually makes you more intentional rather than habitual of what you're doing. So that's what I've done. I've moved them to the second page of my home screen, and just that in itself, it's always like if I need to check social media, I have to really look for those apps and go into them. And I'll be reducing that even more, which I will get into in my blog on my journey to this. But that's what I started with, just moving them into a different place so it's not that habit of going into them. So I highly recommend you do that. And so for me, this month is really about planning and prepping to set those boundaries. And again, I'm not saying that I'm coming completely off social media, but what I want to do is make it very minimal. So this is my plan. I thought I'd share my plan with you. You can always do it with me if you want to. And I'm going to share some resources as well in the blog. So like courses that you can do, things that I'm implementing that I'll share with you. I'll be sharing lots of resources so you can do this too. And I highly recommend it if you are somebody who is just fed up of checking social media, and I'm going to talk in a minute about the energy around it, but I'm going to talk about my plan first, and then I'll talk about the energy that I feel compared to marketing on social media and marketing on just outside of social media, everything else. So this month, should I say, October, I am so I've got loads and loads. So if you listen to my podcast episode last week, you will know that I've got lots of social media content. I save all my social media content, everything that I've created. It's just in folders on my OneDrive. So I've got and I was going through it yesterday to create my plan. And I've got, I've got enough to last me like 3 months, and then I can just lather, rinse, repeat. So that is basically what I'm doing, is that I'm creating a social media plan. So I have a post going out every month, making it very clear and very transparent that these are scheduled posts. But I can have posts going out every single month, still providing lots of value to my Facebook page, to my Instagram account. But I'll be scheduling those. So I'll be using literally one day every single month, the beginning of every month or at the end of every month, haven't decided that yet, where I literally sit down and schedule a month's worth of social media for all of my accounts. You can do your Facebook and your Instagram together. So it's not like you have to schedule it all on Instagram and schedule it all on Facebook separately. You can do lots of things together in Creator Studio and lots of other scheduling apps. But that's pretty much what I've done. And if you feel like you haven't got content, just scroll back to what you've been posting over the last year and literally take those. So screenshot all the images or save some of the videos. I promise you will probably have at least 30 days worth of social media content that you can schedule all in one go, and then you're done. And then all I'm going to do, so that's one day a month. I'm just literally going to sit down. It's going to be my focus. I'm going to do it until it's done. The whole month schedule. Now, those posts, again, are going to end with saying, this is a scheduled post because I'm no longer active on social media. And if you would like to connect with me directly, I'm literally going to put my website, my email address that they can contact with me on. And I'll probably link to like my podcast where they can get better value. And again, it's just getting more traffic to my website and that kind of thing. And actually, I think it's more personal than just doing a post. So that's what I'm doing. One day a month scheduling. Then on a weekly and a daily basis, I still want to connect with the people in my Facebook groups. I have client groups and I have free groups as well. So I will be going live once a week in those groups. So I can provide value for them, that they can see me. It's live. I can answer questions. like that. Okay. And then daily, I've set a time limit again. I did this before, I set a time limit on my phone, but it's even shorter. So I've done it for 25 minutes per day on social media. I will not be doing that. And if I do, I know I've slipped back and I'm going to shorten the time. So 25 minutes for this month on social media. And again, I will re-evaluate all of these every single month to see where I can reduce even further. That time, I've got a list of things that I do in that 25 minutes on all my social media. So again, that's Facebook and Instagram mainly for me, and several accounts because I've got several aspects to my business. So in those 25 minutes, I will only be looking at the notifications, replying to comments, replying to messages, and I might on Instagram potentially just do some hashtags on the post that I've scheduled. And that's it. And if I have any other time, I might do one story on Instagram. But it's literally, I'm in there doing those 3 things and then away. So that is my plan. So go live once a week in my groups, making sure my groups are taken care of and looked after. 25-minute time restriction a day. And that's Monday to Friday. It's not weekends. And that will be literally for replying to comments, replying to messages, and potentially adding hashtags to my Instagram post, because I know that makes it a little bit better. I know that I found that makes it a little bit better. That's all I'll be doing. So very restricted times. I'm not on there throughout the day doing stories or anything like that. I'm going to be changing my profiles. So again, it's very clear that I'm not active on social media and people can find me elsewhere. That's what I'll be doing. But today I had this realization. So I'm now going to talk about the energy of marketing on social media and marketing away from social media. So when I market away from social media, doing all the other things that are more important and more business-like, let's face it, like more like, I always feel like I have a proper business when I'm not actively on social media, because I feel like I'm doing business things. I'm doing like the SEO, I'm doing my emails, I'm doing updating content on my website and actually doing website stuff. But the energy is so different. So on social media, when I'm marketing and doing posts on social media and only on social media, it feels very much like, oh my gosh, who is going to see this? Oh gosh, I'm being too salesy. How many likes did that get? Oh, why didn't that get any likes? Why has that got more likes than this? Oh, how many people have seen this? Oh gosh, who is seeing this? It feels very much like that, and it feels very much like it's never enough. Like when you are posting, it's almost like a little bit, you're kind of gripping on to everything. You're kind of gripping on to maybe validation from a like. You're in fear of who is going to comment. What are they going to comment? There's always that thought of, oh, what are people going to think about that post? Now, I share quite a lot across all borders in terms of my social media posts will be turned into emails a lot of the time, slightly tweaked. A lot of the content that I share on social media, sometimes I share on YouTube. I create longer videos about things. So it's all out there, but there's just this different energy. Now, when I'm not on social media and I'm just marketing in terms of creating blogs and creating my podcast, emails, sending out emails, doing SEO, things like that, it feels very much like, almost like excitement. I wonder who's going to see this. I wonder who's going to benefit from this. I wonder how many sales I'm going to get from this, how much income I'm going to create from this. I wonder how this can help people. I wonder how I can help people even more with this. It's a very different energy. And it's also an energy of, if I'm posting on social media, it's like if something doesn't get a like or something doesn't take off, I'm like in judgment around it, and I criticize myself about how I can do it better or what went wrong here. And again, there's this very much this like fear of who is going to see it, and is it too much for people? And if I get someone who has unfollowed me, it's like, oh, why is that one person unfollowed me? And it becomes this huge thing. It's like, why don't they like me? Why don't they like what I have to offer? Whereas when it's other aspects of marketing outside of social media, it's very much like, this is what I have to offer. This is how I can help. This is how I'm helping. If you find it useful, great. Take what you need from it. I hope it helps. If you want to buy from me, if you want to invest in one of my courses, great. I know I can help you, and I know that my courses have everything you need to thrive and to put things in place. So great. But if you don't want to buy my course, that's absolutely fine too. I really don't mind if it's not for you. Whereas social media, it's very much like, oh my, like, why doesn't this person like me? Why doesn't this person want to buy my course? It's very critical of everything that I'm putting out there. So I don't know whether you have that same energy. I'd love to know. So again, leave me comments. If you're listening to this on the website, there should be room to leave some comments underneath this. So let me know if you have that same energy. But to be honest with you, if I have it, and I'm very organized, and I feel like I've done a lot of mindset work around this as well. But if I'm still feeling like this, then you might be feeling it 10 times more. So I'm excited. I'm excited just in these 3 days. And even today, like, I went on Facebook because I had to message somebody about a class, which I don't have her number. So I had to just message her. And it could have just gone to the Messenger app, but I went into Facebook for some reason, because that's just habit. And even then I was like, oh, I'll just look at this and I'll just look at that. And I could just feel, I just stopped. I was like, wow, I didn't even know I had done that. It was so habitual and just so like pulled me back in straight away. So you have to be very conscious and change all those little habitual things. But I'm excited because just in these 3 days, I felt more relaxed. I felt clearer. I felt more focused, lighter. There is in kind of like the background of my mind of like, oh, is this the right thing? Am I gonna, like, this FOMO, this fear of like, oh no, am I gonna be okay without social media? But again, I know it's the right thing to do, and it's not as if I'm coming completely off of social media yet. It may be something that I do in the future, but these next few months are really reining it in, creating those boundaries. And again, I'll be sharing it all in my No Social Media Business blog. So the link to that is below if you want to follow me or join me, because I'll be sharing a lot of things that you can do and what I'm doing and what's working for me and what may work for you too. But I would love to know your comments on this, because I think it's such a big area. And I think, if you could run your business without social media, wouldn't you? Really? And that is my goal. And I know I can do it because I've done it before. So it's just my goal now to really, really rein it in, start running a business in a more aligned and free way. And if I'm just going to share one last thing. So I made a sale in my business it was like a £97 training. And I have no clue where that person has come from. I don't think she's following me on social media. I did have a quick look. Don't think she was on my email list. I really don't know where she's come from. And this happens to me a lot. So if you're worried about like missing out on sales or missing out on people into your business because you're not on social media, please don't. There's so many other ways that your business can be seen by the right people and by more aligned people as well. And sometimes it's just in the energetics as well, the way you are feeling. And if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and let's face it, crappy using social media, then that's the energy you're kind of vibrating at. So I thought I'd share that. I don't know if it has anything to do with this decision, but it was just really funny that came through on Monday. And I kind of made a decision on Saturday that I was going to set these boundaries and go down this route. So I believe it's energetics and just that vibration. But that's another podcast episode. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, let me know your comments. Reach out to me, email me, drop a comment below if you're listening to this on the website or on YouTube. And yeah, let's do this. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you found anything interesting, inspiring, motivating, useful in this podcast, please reach out to me and let me know. I love to hear your stories and how this has helped you. It's been my aim and my passion to help fitness business owners build thriving fitness businesses, but also build a fitness business without burnout and exhaustion, because that's where I found myself a few years ago. So if you need help with your fit biz, whether it's building online and creating an online service with a website and app and new clients coming into your fitness business on a constant, consistent basis, or maybe you would love help filling your classes and bringing in new clients to your classes every week and every month. Maybe it's social media that you're struggling with in terms of promoting your fitness business. Whatever it is, I think I can help. I have the I Heart My Fit Biz Members Club, which is full of tutorials and masterclasses that's going to help you with a great fitness business mindset and practical tools that you can implement in every area of your fitness business. Or maybe you're teaching 20 plus classes per week and you're burnt out and you're exhausted like I was a few years ago, and you need help taking your fitness business online so you can bring in an online income stream without teaching a single class. And that means you can start teaching only the classes that you absolutely love to teach because you love to teach them. And I can help you do that with the mentorships. We have group mentorships, one-to-one mentorships, and premium mentorships where I do the techie stuff for you. So I will add all the links below if you are looking for more help in creating a thriving fitness business. If not, subscribe to this podcast or follow me on social media so you can get tips and advice on creating a thriving fit biz.